Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop in Florida. Kev Shop 1.83294, start date 7264, whatever. You guys will have to let me know on the audio if these mics are working really well or not. Either way, uh, here I don't really want to be on the ground, but with no lift, that's the status here, and we're going to take out, or at least we're probably not going to take it out because it's still hooked up to the spindles, but we're going to remove the steering rack far enough where we can access the hard lines so we can get those off, cleaned up, and one of them has to get replaced. So this is a 96, and 96 and 97 Miatas have different hard lines and soft lines for the secondary return. So I didn't see a lot of videos out on YouTube about, I actually didn't see a single one about this particular setup. So I wanted to do this for you guys so that people with 96s and 97s understand that you do have a different secondary return. And you're not like all the others. you're unique, just like everyone else. So I love that line. So I'm going to bring you guys in. I'm going to grab some lights and get some lights coming down from the engine bay, and then I'm going to pull you guys in with me underneath the car, and you can watch. I'll show you how to sort of get that steering rack. Hopefully, I haven't done this yet, so hopefully we'll find out. We can just lift it off its mounting, and we can get access to those hard lines, the flare nuts that are on the backside of the steering rack, where you have the AC compressor, you have the frame, you have the engine, you have a whole bunch of stuff in the way. You can't access those, you can't get a wrench on them or anything else. And I think on the main one, I think I've already stripped out the fitting on that. It's okay. We have a brand new line for that, and I wasn't really worried about it. If I stripped it out, I would cut it off or whatever. It's not a huge issue, but I wanted to try and at least get better access to it so I could. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in the way. There's coolant hoses and all this stuff. So in order to get some room, we're going to pull the steering rack off of its mounting bracket along the frame, along the subframe rail there. So give me a second to grab some lights, and I'll pull you guys underneath, and we'll see if we can get this off. It should be pretty simple. Famous last words, right? So let's see how far we can get with this, and we might have to come back later tonight and do more in order to move the steering rack more. Also, you can see the garage doors are open. It's an overcast day here in Florida, but it's warm. So I figured bring in some natural light, which is new and novel for my channel, right? Normally it's 10 or 11 o'clock at night, right? So we'll use some natural light and hopefully get a little different perspective and do a little different thing. It's also a much different time than you folks are used to. So I apologize for that, but if you're watching on the replay, enjoy this. Let me grab some tools and some light, and we'll get going on this. All right. I need a 14, and I'll come back and get the flare wrenches when we need them. So we will get a light going up here. And do I still have a light down there somewhere? I think I do have one from when I was messing with the I do still have a light down here. All right. When I was messing with that other line. Okay, where is the on button? There we go. All right. So hopefully these lights don't blind you guys. Now it's time to get you guys moved This is going to take a second because I'm on my knees on concrete. All right, so let's get a little better angle for you guys. You don't really need to see me. And what I've got is I've got a 14 millimeter. This is just a 1/4 inch drive, but it's a deep socket. You absolutely need the deep socket. And I got some gloves. Oh, there goes that light. All right, we'll fix that light here in a second because I'm just laying down on my shoulder right now. Okay. So I don't really need these gloves. And they're actually kind of small, so we're going to ditch those for now. Okay. So what we've got, that's not going to work. God. Okay. So hopefully that doesn't blind you guys too much. So what we've got, I'm going to try and pull you in closer here, is we have 4 bolts. You can see the 2 main brackets. You have one bracket here. You have one bracket over here. This car is almost 30 years old, and it has, this is corrosion that's gotten through the enamel coating, and it's pretty much gone on this one. So we have to get the bolt here. There's one bolt here. There's one behind it. Same thing here. There's one behind it, but it's really difficult to get to because we've got the AC compressor in the way. We've got the oil pan. We've got the steering column input. And yeah, there's just a ton of crap back here. Again, this hasn't been out in 30 years. So this is the fun part. So make sure we're on loose. And oh, that guy came out pretty easy. See, this guy is a little more difficult. And another pro tip for when you're doing this is if the bolt is difficult to move, you can actually go tight slightly. So just give it, a 1/16 of a turn or an 1/8 of a turn tight if you can, and then come back and go loose. And that helps break that corrosion that's inside the threads. The other thing is when you're taking something like this off that's corroded on the back side of the threads here, it's okay to actually use the threads of the nut to clean off the corrosion as you go. So you're going loose, and then you go tight a few turns just to clean off all that crap. I'm not sure if you guys can see, there's stuff falling off here. It just helps. It's kind of like a thread chaser. It just helps clean it off. So once you get past a certain point, you're not cleaning any threads off. So these guys coming out pretty easy. That one is okay. And yeah, you can see the corrosion on these is incredible. I don't know if it'll focus, but yeah. And you have a lock washer that's built in. Yep. It's a built-in lock washer on here. So we'll get these brushed off and cleaned up, and yeah, I guess we can paint them. So set that guy to the side. And we'll get this one in the back. And this is why you need the deep socket, because it's very difficult to get on the back side of this bracket. So you'll need probably a 3/8 drive or a 1/4 drive with a helper. A long-handled 1/4 drive would be really good. And you can get back here because there's not a lot of room. So we'll do the same thing. a bunch of unthreading. And yeah, you might hear my neighbor and his son. They're out running around doing stuff. So here we go. We'll go a little bit tight and clean off some of that crap. While it helps clean off the bolt, it also helps clean off the threads and the captive nut here. And it is kind of a feel thing. You'll be able to feel it when it gets tight. You can go back, and when it gets tight as you're loosening it, you can go back and go tight and then come back and loosen it. None of that made any sense, except if you're feeling what you're feeling. Now, I don't want to lose this guy back here, so I'm going to keep him in the socket. I'm just going to hold him. But yeah, you can see all the crap that's on these. That's just from 30 years of running it. Let's do this guy in the back first, because he's going to be the most difficult to get to because I can't see him. I have to go by feel. And as you can tell, there's not a lot of room for my hand back here. So, oh, did I get on him? Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, crap. Tight. Yep, I got him. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And then we'll go a couple turns tight. And then go back to loose. You can see how tight of a fit it is here. I have the oil pan in the way. I have the main steering, and then I have the column. I have the AC in the way. I don't have a lot of room to work. So if you guys can't see this, I apologize. And one thing you can do when working with these lines, with any of this stuff on the steering, is you can move these AC lines. There's just one bracket right here, and you can tell it's been full Ohio'd. You can remove this bracket off the radiator, and that lets these lines flex a little bit and kind of get out of your way. But I prefer to struggle and fight these. So I've left them up there. So I'll fight them the entire time. You can feel it get tight. So that's when you go tight here, and that cleans off the garbage on the backside of those threads. It gets loose, and then you go loose again. And I know there's just going to be a ton of garbage up here because this is easy place for stuff to catch, and it's a very difficult place for stuff to clean out, to get in there and clean stuff out. It gets tight again, so I'm going to go tight, clean off some of that garbage, and then yeah, I said subframe, but he's actually part of the frame. Nope, he's part of the subframe. Sorry. All right. Now, the other thing I don't want to do is lose this guy up here. Because that'll be a pain getting a magnet up there to get him out. All right. It's very difficult to tell if he's all the way out or not. Because you do have a ton of corrosion up there. Yeah, he's getting pretty loose. Okay. So now the question is, oh, is he out? Yep. Can I get my hand up there and get him out? Yep. 2 fingers, just like that. So there we go. We've got our, that's by far our most difficult one. And you can just see how gross he is. I mean, he's got a lot of Ohio on him. So, um, but the inside that was actually bolted is actually very clean. So that's a good sign. This guy tight. Oh wow, that is very difficult to do with a 1/4 inch drive. I would recommend an extending. If you have an extending one, that's the way to do it, or something that you can get more torque. Oh, you're going to see a ton of crap come out of this guy. All right, we're going to go tight for a couple turns and then come back. Oh, there's a ton of garbage. You also need to remember that the car travels this way. So this is catching all of the dirt and road grime and everything, all the salt and everything else. So when their nuts and bolts are at the forefront, at the battle line, what is it called? The battlefront. Those are the ones that definitely take the brunt of road crap and salt. And down here, there's a lot of sand. So, but thankfully, sand is mostly silicone and is not insanely corrosive. So yeah, this is a lot of back and forth. And these are the ones that I sprayed with Deep Creep a couple of days ago. So I'm sure the Deep Creep helped out. They're also kind of coated in power steering fluid, which is probably also helping out. I'm keeping pressure on the backside here so that this also stays square to the nut. I don't want it to strip off any of these nuts or any of these bolts. Yeah, even the last couple of threads here. Damn. All right. All right. So, should be able to turn that guy out. And, yep, you can see how gnarly he is. He is pretty gross on there. So, we've got our 4 main bolts out. Now we have to get these bracket covers off. And this one actually is probably going to come off easier. He at least shifts a little bit. Yeah, nice. Okay. So this is our bracket, and he has a bushing in there, just a rubber bushing. And these are obviously, you can see they're set up for Zerk fittings. There's a hole in the top there. You can probably see it better right there. So if you wanted to, you could probably put a Zerk fitting in there so you can lube them up. Now there's this rubber, and surprisingly, the rubber is flexible, and he is not, and he's staying in position because the other clamp is still on. But yeah, there's the little assembly glue. Put him in the garbage. But yeah, this guy's still flexible. Yeah, they use that. That's an alignment dot where that guy lines up. But you could put a Zerk fitting in there, and you could put in some nice polyurethane bushings if you really wanted to. Well, actually, let's just set this guy back in here. Get the rest of this assembly grease out of here, or glue. That way, when we get this clamp off, he won't fall right away. Because we have other hard lines back here. And the other fun part is going to be releasing the actual column. And getting the steering column released from the rack. Of course, it is a drop down nut. So if I want to take off the tie rods, I got to pull the wheels off. But Not worried about that right now. I'm worried about getting this bracket off. I'm going to go grab a pry bar. You guys stay there for a sec. You guys are okay? All right. I will be right back. Hang on. And hopefully you guys are leaving comments because I can't really see them right now. Pry bars. Probably just a little guy. I don't think I'm going to need much. The other one came off pretty easy, which is surprising for a 30-year-old car. Come off so quickly and easily. But yeah, I mean, you can just see the corrosion in here. A little motivation. He does not want to come out of there. Trying to twist him. We might actually have to get some physical violence in here, which is okay. We got our brand new little stubby hammer. By the way, this guy is awesome. Go get one of these. 90% of the time at the shop, I use this. I don't need a big hammer. Okay, audio and video sound good. Thank you. Whoever sent that. It's not the correct use of a pry bar. There we go. But yeah, go get one of these. They're like $4 at Harbor Freight. I use this for most of the stuff that I hammer on. It also fits in your pocket real easy. Awesome little hammer. You don't normally need a 2-pound sledge for everything. Don't get me wrong. I love my 2-pound sledge, but it's not necessary all the time. Just be careful when you're prying this stuff up. Number one, you don't want to flex the other side, the tang on the other side. So just go slow. And you can see the whole steering rack is moving as I'm lifting this up. So we have a loose steering rack, which is a good thing. Now I need to drop this. Well, I guess, yeah, kind of lift up and bring it forward. I should have enough room with the tie rods still on. It'd be nice to not have to take these off in order to get to these lines in the back. Those are the ones I really need to get to. I'd like to get to these and get them cleaned up as well. But the one I have to replace is all the way up here. It's the most difficult one up here. So let's see. Try and get some better leverage here. Now that bracket needs to come off. So I'm just going to help them off here. Okay. These guys will obviously get cleaned up and painted. Notice how this guy doesn't have an alignment hole in him. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, you can see how much crap got caught in there over the years. I mean, it's just, there's just amazing amounts. So this will get cleaned up and this will get repainted. Obviously, we won't paint the inside here. We'll keep it as smooth as possible. We'll tape that off or whatever. But yeah, this stuff can get painted. The original paint is all pretty much gone. And yeah, there's a ton of corrosion in here. So that is the other bracket. We'll keep it on this side so we don't get the two brackets mixed up. And then I'm going to see how this rubber part is on here, because I don't, oh, there is a break right there. Okay. Yeah. So he's also glued into place. Now what I have is up there, I have the input shaft from the steering column, and he is still attached. The bolt is out of it. So I need to go and look and see if I can wiggle him out. I have to be careful. The hard lines back here. So these hard lines are very easy to dent. And once you dent them and crimp them, they don't work as well. And God forbid you break them. So up there is a U-joint, and he might need some motivation to break free. So I'm going to go break that U-joint free. Actually, I'll bring you guys with me, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I don't want to jip you guys out of anything. So give me a second here to get out from under the car. Bring the iPad up. Hey, there you guys are. All right, hang on a sec. Here we go. And I don't know if it lets me switch cameras here. It does. That's cool. Okay. So I'll bring you guys down here. Where's the steering column? Okay, he's over there. Well, just blocking the camera. That's all I'm doing, right? All right. Right there. Oh, it's the shield that's blocking the camera. All right, hang on a sec here. Hey. Okay. We're going back to horizontal. Just relax, iPad, buddy. Okay, there we go. So down here, you can see my paint mark. The bolt's already out from here, and I put a paint mark to make sure. Now it looks off on camera, but it's actually lined up perfectly straight. So this guy has to get loosened. He has to separate. This is a U-joint in this boot right here. So we need to separate this from this so that the steering rack can come out and go down that way. So I'm going to turn the steering wheel a little bit and get a pry bar in here. Hopefully loosen that guy up. He had deep creep on him too. So, of course, I can't see. Oh, you guys are helping me out by having the camera there. Just curious how far I have to go before I can get the pry bar in there. And I don't want the steering wheel to lock up either. Actually, I do want it to lock up, but not right now. It'll lock as soon as I turn it back. So let's get a pry bar in there. Use one of the bigger ones. We have new pry bars. They were on sale. Pry bars getting beat up pretty bad. So we'll see. We're going to go this way and see if we can get that flexed open. Of course, I have the air intake this way, and I have the header this way. So trying to get that open. And believe it or not, I can actually steer the car this way. All right, we might come in here with some motivation. Yeah, and it just rests up against that tube. The coolant line. All right, let's see where we're at here. Because I'm trying to give you guys a good visual while actually doing this, and it's It's kind of difficult. I need 3 hands. So I'm just going to slide you guys down a little bit just to give me a little more room. It might angle slightly, but hopefully you guys can still see everything. Okay. Now, in conjunction, I also have the strut tower bar in the way. So I can't really get a good shot on the pry bar to get him loose. But I see him flexing. I don't know if you guys can see him flexing. I can see him flexing a little bit. I don't want to break him. So that's an even bigger mess. Then I got to replace that whole U-joint. So I'm going to leave you guys there for a second while I come down here. I don't know. Maybe you can see me up there. Let's see if I can pull this rack, which I can't. There's no way for me to get my hand up there. I have way too many lines in the way and other components. So we'll have to figure out a different way to get this guy off. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? Yeah. I get so much force doing it this way. I'm barely even touching it. So let me pull you guys out of the way because I know this isn't. It's far more amusing to watch me struggle than it is. I'll try and get you guys here. You see that separation. And I think I got it. Let me come down here and check and see if I got it. Nope. Maybe if I get, I'm going to try and take this rubber off. This rubber has had a lot of heat on it. He is on the header side of the engine. And he's also right by the oil pan. So we might be doing new bushings for this, which I will pick up when I am in Ohio next week. Ah, this guy is not coming off. All right. That the column does not want to separate from the clamp, and that's making it very difficult to move this. This guy does not want to come loose. So to me, it looks like he's loose. But there's no, this could not be more in my way. I know he's a 1/4 inch thick, but anytime you try and do anything, he's in your way. Hood prop yoga, that'll be my next class. So that guy doesn't want to release because the steering column is still sort of held in place. It's not mounted anymore, but it's held in place. So anytime I'm tapping, it's like, no, doesn't have anywhere to go. So I got to figure out how to, I don't know, I guess give more room so that the steering column can come, that U-joint can separate. I just don't know how to do that. Because he rests on the subframe, he rests in a nice little valley. And since he's caught there, it's not going anywhere. So let me see if I can get this guy a little more room to work with. I thought that I had him out far enough that he would just slide off there. Oh yeah, this rubber bushing is basically plastic now. He is on there pretty damn firm. Yeah, this guy is really on there. I can't really go through the wheel well. That's not going to work. All right. We'll go with a try a bigger hammer, right? Bigger hammer usually works. Maybe. Again, if I can get in here. All right, well, he doesn't want to. Also, the distance that I'm hammering is about this far. So that's about all the throw I get. I don't have any way to get any more force on it. I don't have any room in here. So since he is not coming apart, I don't know. See, but my paint line is separated from the main joint. So he did move a little. He's just not moving anymore. This is the problem with corrosion. Corrosion is like, it's basically like chemical welding. Those components get the corrosion between them, and it's like metallurgical welding, which is obviously redundant, but the corrosion in there is so hard that you can't separate things. It grows together. It's like that, the tree that grows around the bicycle frame. How are you going to get that bike frame out of there? So this is what's happened here, is we have all that corrosion and you have to break it free. But even when you break it free, you still have all of it inside that joint. And that's why we do the bolts. We go tight and then loose and then tight again, and then loose more and then tight a little bit and then loose more. We do that to break all that corrosion up and break that stuff free. This is the hard part, man. This is definitely the hard part. But I do have separation with my paint mark, which is a good sign. So it will come loose. I just haven't figured out a really good way to get it loose. So he tried to go straight on me. And the other thing that sucks is it's a really short distance it needs to go. Maybe 3/4 of an inch, 25 millimeters or so, 20 millimeters maybe. So he doesn't have very far to go, but it's long enough. Let's try some different stuff. Where'd my other hammer go? There he is. I'm gonna try a longer pry bar here. I have an even longer one than this, but I want to get that guy flexed open and break that corrosion. The other problem is all this stuff is moving. So the steering wheel is actually moving as I'm hitting it, trying to open that up. Try and get it up here by the top. That went all the way down to the shaft, which should have opened this up enough to slide that. Back a little bit. Maybe now that we have it opened up, we can put some lube in there and let that lube sit. What I really need is someone to hold the steering wheel. I don't have a good way to twist this, which would be really nice. So let's move our steering wheel a little bit more this way, not too far. See if we can flip our tool around like so. That gives us a little different attack here. Okay, so he's all the way down on the splines. And you got to be careful, you don't want to damage the splines. All right, well, he's so stuck, I can actually lift the rack. So maybe we get him unstuck. He is coming off of there. But man, this is not. Oh, that guy's out of there already. Okay. Yeah, we have good separation here. So I guess it helps to have that pry bar in there. Yeah, he is coming very slowly, but very surely. Okay. Oh, come on. The other problem is it's very difficult to see in there because your eyes are trying to focus very far away, but you have a lot of things in your way. And so it changes your focus and your ability to zoom in and focus on stuff. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Well, newer cars, you're not dealing with this corrosion. So, yep, he's coming. The other problem is the light. I can't actually see what I'm hammering on. We're almost off here. And we are off. Now I have a loose steering rack. Yay, pry bar and a BFH. Now, obviously, all of those threads, I'll bring you guys over here so you can see. Oh my God. This magnet. God damn. When you don't want it to go anywhere, it releases like it was held on with Scotch tape. And then when you want to move it, so, wow. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So there you guys go. You can see how far it had to go down here. That's the edge of the paint mark. And then that's supposed to be like that, but the steering wheel is weighted, so it's moving on its own. And here you can see the notch where my thumb is, and that's where the bolt passes through. So even if the bolt gets loose, this thing won't pull out because the bolt, as long as it kind of stays in there, it'll help hold this thing in. But that's where the, is it upside down? No, it's right side up. So that's kind of the 0 point. So we've got this guy loose now. And you can see the U-joint working here. And the U-joint's actually pretty damn tight. So I'm okay with that. He doesn't have any play in it. He's not super tight, but he doesn't have any play in it. So this stuff will all get brushed and cleaned up. And we'll try and save our paint marks or, extend them or whatever when we clean it up so that we can get some, once it goes all back together, we'll get some paint on it, get some TBL and make sure it stays clear. So now comes the fun part. And that's coming back down here. and seeing if we can move this rack far enough where we can access all of these flare nuts. So let me bring you guys back. Whoops, nope, come back here. Okay. Does it let me do magic wand stuff? Like I can draw on here? Let me try this. I haven't tried this yet. Retouch. Oh, wait. I paid to have it done. Hey, Motor Chimp. Thanks, man. I don't know what retouch is. All right. Well, retouch is off. All right. So I'll bring you guys back underneath here. And we'll see if we can get this rack moved. This is also hard because the front air dam is the exact height of my shoulder. So it's a pain in the ass to get in here. So here we go. That is the kind of access that I am looking for, but we are totally restricted by the tie rods, which sucks. But I now have much better access down here from underneath, and I have access to this junction block back here, and I also have access to this guy back here, which I guess let me move some stuff so that you guys can see actually what the hell is going on. Because I have you guys on the wrong side of all of this. I apologize for that. So yeah, I think this rubber bushing, I don't know if I can get him off of there. I think I can. Yeah, he's just glued on there really good. But he's also, I mean, yeah. Okay, we can get him off. God, this is so gross. Oh, please don't break. Just move the pry bar here. I want you guys to see. That's what Ohio does to rubber. Forget about metal. Oh my God. The corrosion and all of the crap in here is just stunning. So there's our other bushing. Whoops. You guys are missing out on this stuff. I'm going to bring you closer and tilt you up a little. There we go. This is what's inside that second bushing. That's what Ohio does to rubber. This is a rubber part. Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. Put those guys together. And I'll swing you guys around so you can kind of see the backside, which is where I'm going to be working on a bunch of this stuff. So back here, you can see this fitting. We have, where's our other one? He's right here, which obviously you can't see. Because I put it in exactly the right spot where you can't see it. Sorry. The other ones we need to get to are up here. Oh God, I could not have picked a worse angle. That's how hard it is to get to these. Anyway, you can see this flare right here. So this guy's going to go loose. We're going to clean him up, and then we'll put him back in. There's one up here. Yeah, kind of, maybe. You can see it up there. Sort of, maybe. Where's my finger? Okay. Nope, of course, this is in the way. So hang on. You see him? Yeah, he's right there. Where the hell's my light? So there you go. You can see him right there. He's going to get cleaned up too. This guy, there you go. This flare, and you can see the paint. I mean, they try. They put on pretty heavy duty paint. And then we also have fittings back. Oh, of course, you can't see any of that stuff. Anyway, this is all the stuff we're going to try and clean up. As I'm blinding you guys, I don't mean to do that. And then I have much, much better access to the stuff back here. These hard lines are the ones that are the very difficult ones to get access to. But I'll have to slide underneath the car further. But I can get wrenches on them, which is a good thing. I can get a wrench going in this way right past the mount. So here and here is our, is this our one? Yep, that's our big one that we need to replace. This guy right here, which of course you cannot see because there's so much crap in the way. But this is the guy we need to replace. He's about 80 bucks. And then these fittings are all getting, again, this whole mount blocks everything you guys can see. Everything I want you guys to see. And bringing it over here on my side doesn't help either. That's how tightly packed everything is in here. Yeah, it doesn't really help. So these are, I'll figure out a better angle for this. I'll do some test runs and we can come back tonight and get these lines off and start getting them cleaned up. But yeah, all of this stuff, I mean, you guys can see it here. This is really, that just shows you, you know, what the environment, where you drive your car, what it does to it. This is what Ohio does to cars. This is what Michigan does to cars. Any place above I-70 and east of the Mississippi, that's what happens to your cars. That is exactly what happens to your cars. And it doesn't matter if it's 30 years old or if it's 10 years old, it's happening. So, yeah, we can actually get, I think we can get a little more angle. Yeah, because I can angle these guys. Of course. Why would that? Oh, this is our hard line that's still attached up there. This guy I need to get to as well. And we're just kind of resting on a rubber boot, but I can get him at kind of an angle. I can push this side in and pull this side out, which gives me better access to this. So that's where we are for now. We'll come back tonight. I'll get a better shot so you guys can see what I'm doing with these. Using my nose to check notifications on the watch. That's sad, isn't it? So I'll figure out how to get a better angle on these so you guys can see what I'm taking apart, what's getting replaced, what's getting cleaned up. But yeah, this is, I think this is the best way to do it. If I really wanted to, I could take the tie rods off. I could drop those and then this whole steering rack would come out. But I don't really want to do that. I think I can get access here and I'll struggle a little bit here, but that's better than struggling with the tie rod end down there. So I'm going to do these and get them cleaned up. We should be okay. Should be okay for another 30 years, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully this was slightly more fun than the normal one. Oh, and I got to show the 96 and 97 guys. All right, I'm going to bring you guys back upstairs and I'm going to show the 96, 97 guys what I'm talking about, where your vehicles are different than the prior NAs. So give me a second here. We can turn off this light and bring them down because we're going to plug them in. Let me grab you guys. Bring you over here. And I apologize if the iPad flops down and you stare at the ceiling. I am working in very tight confines. And I'm 6'1", so that doesn't help either. I know there's not many 6'1" guys in Miatas. I'm that guy. So let me flip this around. And I'll show you guys the specific line. Oh, that's almost a good shot of it right there. Ah, of course. This is really hard to get a camera in here. All right. Stepping on everything. I gotta move the light so we can see what we need to look at. Okay. So there is our camera. And if we look down here, this line right there, that guy. And I'm sorry it's out of focus. This guy is different on the 96s and 97s. And he also has a different soft line that goes up to the power steering pump, or up to the power steering reservoir. So this is your secondary return line. He is different on the 96 and 97 cars. Why? I don't know, but they did make that change. Oh, there it goes. It's a little bit better and a little bit more in focus. Let me move the light here, maybe. Nope, that's actually a lot worse. There you go. Now you can see him. This guy right here. And you can see the corrosion at the end from where he was leaking. This guy is the guy that's really, really difficult to replace. You can see the corrosion in the, that's the U-joint lock bolt. So we'll get some cleanup on him too. But this guy has to get replaced. Yep. This yellow stuff that you're seeing here, this is called Corroseal, and it's left over from when I did the frame on the car. So all this stuff just kind of peels off. Doesn't really work on non-corrosion stuff. This is our main power steering pump outlet. Inlet. This is our inlet, and then our outlet, we have our hard line, which is right here, and we have to take that guy off. So we'll take that guy off tonight. That'll give us a little more room to work down there. I think this guy's already loose. Oh my God. Wow, nice close-up on my hand. So anyway, this is our power steering pump, high pressure line, low pressure return, and then our secondary return all the way down here. And this is the one we got to replace. So I know it's kind of upside down and weird right now, and I apologize for that. So I'll bring you guys back up with me. This is really hard because this is a big iPad, so it's difficult. Here, set you guys up here. That does not work at all. Okay. All right, set you over here. That works a little bit better. So, except I have to go on the other side of the motorcycles. All right. I'll be able to figure this out one day. I swear I will. I'm going to set you guys on the Miata engine. That's appropriate, right? Okay. Okay, better. Sorry about that. So both brackets, God, I got so much crap on my hands. Both brackets are off, and our U-joint is disconnected from the main steering column, and we have room now to work on those flare fittings and get those. The one obviously has to come off. The other ones have to get removed, threads cleaned up, put back in and torque down. So we'll do that tonight. We'll do the second part of this. I know it said removal, but at this point, the only thing you need to do to remove that is to undo your tie rods from, take off your wheels, zoom out your tie rod ends, and then the steering rack comes out. So if you're looking for removal, you just have 2 more nuts to do. That's it. If you are trying to do these fittings and replace all these lines, then we'll do the second part where we'll take this stuff apart, we get it cleaned up, get it put back together. And the only downside is I don't have a replacement for that hard line, that secondary return hard line. I don't have a replacement for the soft line on that either. I will pick those up in Ohio next week. So that's the downside. They're difficult parts to find because this was only done on 96s and 97s, so it's not out there. If you do find them, they're probably used. I don't know if you can still get it from Mazda. I haven't tried. I've gone to my Mazda parts dealer, which is like a crack dealer, but he's awesome. No, it's Midwest Miata Parts. It's Darren at Midwest Miata Parts. He's awesome. If he doesn't have it brand new, he probably has it used, and very, very good source for all Miata parts. NAs, NBs, NDs, NCs, all that. Definitely NAs and NBs. He's definitely a pro. He's got thousands and thousands of parts. So he's a very good source for that stuff. So tonight we'll come back. We'll get those. I'm going to put some deep creep on these, and then we'll come back and we'll do. We'll get those guys loose, get them apart, and at least get the broken one out of there. We'll get our high pressure line off as well because we do have a replacement for the high pressure line. And I need to get the brackets off the original high pressure line and put them on this one. And also, I think I'm going to do the new high pressure line has this split loom tubing, which actually works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But the original has the soft foam, the foam here. So I think what I'm going to do is when I put the new brackets on, before I put the new brackets on, I'm going to put the foam over the split loom. Just give it that kind of double protection. It is a high pressure line, so we'll give it a little protect. Oh, here's our new return line, and he actually came with new foam. So we'll do foam plus, if we can, if we've got enough room, we'll do foam plus split loom, and that should give us nice protection on this. Doesn't weigh anything, doesn't really detract from anything. We'll just try and make it as robust as possible. We don't, we want to bulletproof this stuff. We don't want it to come apart. What the hell is going on with my hair? Oh, because it was laying down on the ground. We don't want it to come apart when we're at the track or when we're out cruising with our friends. We want it all to stay together. So I'll come back tonight and we can get those lines, the fittings off and cleaned up. It's going to be a brass brush and some cleaner, probably, I don't know. We can probably just use WD-40 to clean it, but I'll probably use Deep Creep to clean that stuff up, and then some acetone to clean it all off. Actually, we'll probably just use alcohol. It's quick drying solvent. So we use alcohol to clean off the threads. Make sure everybody's cleaned out on the outside and on the inside. So the male portion and the female portion that is in the steering rack, get all that stuff cleaned up. And this also helps you identify leaks. So once everything's cleaned and also repainted and protected, it's easier to find leaks. That's why like the oil pan is silver on this car, because I can find leaks easier. Like the front main seal that's has a very slow leak in it. So it's a good idea to have stuff super clean. It's a lot easier to find leaks and find problems when everything's cleaned and painted. If you have the chance, paint it a lighter color so that you can see what it is. And another pro tip for the different fluids, use different color fluids. So in one of my race cars, I have oils, obviously going to be black or caramel brown, it should be. And then for the For the power steering, coolant is going to be green or orange or whatever. And obviously, in the race cars, we run water and what's called water wetter. So that'll be clear. And then for power steering, I usually run purple. I run royal purple power steering fluid. That way I know if it's a power steering leak, it'll be purple fluid. Or if it's purple fluid, it'll be a power steering leak. However you want to describe that. And this makes it a lot easier to find problems. You know kind of what you're looking for if you can do it in different colors. So you can do the same thing with your regular car. If it's green or orange, it's coolant. If it's uh, red, it's ATF. If it's purple, it's power steering. You can diagnose a lot quicker just by looking at the color. So there's a little pro tip for you. That's it for right now. Like I said, we'll come back tonight. We'll maybe tomorrow too. I don't know. I'd like to get this thing all set up so when I come back from Hoth, when I come back from Ohio, I have all the parts and it can just go back together and paint will be dry and all of that stuff. So I'm just trying to prep it for when I come back. I can just put this whole thing back together, get it off the ground, get it tested, and make sure there's no leaks. So thanks you guys for hanging out today, and hopefully you got something. I apologize for the weirdo camera work and not lighting stuff and crawling around under the car, but I appreciate your patience. I'm still trying to figure all this out and how to get you guys the best shot so you can see what is actually happening versus someone showing a picture, or you see it after it's done, which is even worse. So thanks for your patience for putting up with all that stuff. I promise to get better at it. I'll get better cameras. I'll get more cameras, and we can do multiple angles at the same time and all that. So we'll keep getting better at this. The technology is getting better and a lot easier to work with. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. And if you have any questions, any comments, anything, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I'll get it up here, or I'll just reply to you. However, I appreciate you guys hanging out, and I appreciate everyone subscribing. My friend James, who I was talking with yesterday, he's like, "Dude, you have a YouTube channel?" And he jumped right on. So that's pretty awesome. He's definitely a car guy, but he's way more of a guitar guy. So it's always cool to have friends say like, "I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. That's so cool." So yeah, and thanks to everyone else who subscribed and telling your friends and all of that. I really appreciate it. You guys are super cool. I love getting those notifications and emails. That's definitely a feel good thing for me. So don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll catch you tonight or tomorrow, depending on when we get this stuff loose. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.